mean, Dumb Ways to Die was developed, to be honest, a lot like most campaigns. There was nothing particularly special, but rather than do a traditional PSA, which they don't really work very well with teenagers and young people. Tolerance is probably what the majority of advertising aims for. So we wanted to actually live on iTunes and succeed on iTunes and get people to buy an ad about rail safety. The animation style was very simple. It was done in Flash, and again, we wanted to make every 2 or 3 second scene funny. So it's hard to do. It's hard to sustain that, and God's in the details in humour, especially with animation. And by doing it in Flash, it meant that we could, that's not quite funny, talk about something, and an hour later it's done. The simplicity of it, I think, worked in our favour because no one's blown away by the animation technique. They really enjoy the humour in the storytelling. To their eternal credit, they bought into an idea early, and they allowed us the freedom to execute it as we saw fit. When we presented the first rough cut of the animation to the head client, we played the ad, and she said, look, yes, I like it, but I have only got 2 things to say. And normally at that point, it's, I don't like the idea and I don't like the execution, change everything. This is that sort of, like, oh, I like it, but you're like, oh, here we go. We're waiting for and the but was, look, the guy really needs a piranha on his private parts, and at the end, you've got to put much more blood and gore into it. And I'm like, okay, we can do that. Technology's greatest gift is that it makes us more human if we use it correctly, because it allows us to share things that make us feel more human. There's no point creating work for platforms to show off the platform's capabilities. Who gives a shit about that? So I think your thinking needs to be humanistic, and it needs to operate at a basic human level, and that's lo-fi, that's low tech. Don't think technology when you create the idea. Think person to person. It's one human being to another, but then you use the platforms, you use Tumblr, you use SoundCloud, you use whatever to make it easy for people to spread the thing they've fallen in love with, but get them to fall in love with something first. Look, we just keep doing what we're doing, and some things will be more awarded than others, but the goal should never change, and that's to do work that has a real-world creative impact, that inspires people to change their behaviour, even in the tiniest of ways. That's kind of what we do. So it's just, it's business as usual. But it's nice to have, to make a campaign that is become super popular around the world. That's a cool thing, I think. But also it's cool because it's not a hugely famous global brand. There wasn't a lot of money, and if the idea's right and you care enough about executing it, and you use social platforms well, anything can become famous. And that's the true beauty of the industry right now. Is it's super democratic, and anyone from anywhere can do the next huge thing. You don't need permission. You don't need a lot of money. You just need, a few things to go right for you, and just be super passionate about, what you're doing. So, we'll see what's next. There's some good stuff coming up, but it's. Dumb Ways to Die is a lovely sort of odd little blip in a long series of interesting projects, and I hope the next thing we do is just as popular. But it's kind of hard to imagine. It's kind of hard to imagine, but we'll aim for it.